Our daily lives are filled with plastic products. All of these items are made of plastic. They include such products as plastic containers that are no longer used. Although these items might all look the same, there are in fact many different types of plastic. Do you think you can tell them apart? Today, let's try our hand at classifying plastics. Okay, time to give it a go. Try to classify the same types of plastics.
I'll do my best. All done.
She divided them into 3 types. Is this correct? Aw, you were close. The plastics you see here are polyethylene, polypropylene, polyvinyl chloride, polystyrene, and polyethylene terephthalate. 5 types in total. If you know each of their properties, you'll be able to classify them easily. But it's not quite as simple as it sounds, is it? So let's bring in a couple of experts.
Huh? Experts?
Ta-da! The Plastic Classification Duo. They're professional plastics classifiers who know all about the properties of plastics. Now, let's see if these professionals can classify all these plastic products. Before we start, let's learn a little about the properties of plastics from the classification duo.
First, let's take a look at the differences in each type of plastic. Okay, let's try bending it.
When we bend plastic, we discover some differences in each type. Polystyrene tends to break when bent. Polypropylene is light, strong, and won't break even when it's bent. At first glance, they look the same, but they have different properties.
Next, let's apply heat.
This container is used for storing food. It's also made of plastic. Let's put some meat sauce in it and put it in the microwave. The heat has deformed the lid's shape. However, the body seems to be fine. This is because the lid and body of this container are made of different types of plastic. The body, made of polypropylene, is relatively heat resistant, and even at 100 degrees Celsius doesn't change shape. The lid is made of polyethylene. Although weak against heat, it can be made thick and soft, making it a perfect material for lids.
As you can see, each type of plastic has different properties.
And this is why different materials are used for different purposes in plastic products. Got it?
Now, let's try classifying our items. For that, let's start with... What? You're gonna cut it? Well, if you have to. Preparation is the key to accurate classification. And we're ready. The duo has cut out pieces from each item. Now, let's start sorting again.
For classification, we'll use these.
These beakers contain water, a saturated saline solution, and a 50% ethanol solution. Let's try putting the plastic that we cut into small pieces into the beakers. We'll begin with this cup. It floats in all the beakers. How about this container? It sank when put in the 50% ethanol solution. These two seem to be different kinds of plastic.
Each type of plastic has a different density. That's why you can tell them apart by whether they float or sink. In liquids of different densities.
As you can see in this table, you can determine the type of plastic to some extent by whether it floats or sinks. Polypropylene floated in all of the liquids. Polyethylene sank only when put in the 50% ethanol solution. How about this plastic? It only floats in the saturated saline solution. It must be polystyrene. How about this egg carton? It sinks in all of them. And this one? It also sinks in all of them. Having completed the sink or float test for all 5 plastics, polyethylene, polypropylene, and polystyrene have been classified. But we still can't distinguish polyvinyl chloride and polyethylene terephthalate, which sunk in all 3 solutions. So what should we do about this?
No problem. We'll find out with this.
Oh my, they're going to burn them. First, this egg carton. It burns well. How about this one? It seems to burn well, but not when removed from the flame. The one that burns well is polyethylene terephthalate, and the one that goes out is polyvinyl chloride. You can also tell the difference between plastics by observing how they burn and how they smell when they burn. We've now sorted them into 5 types. Great work, classification duo! Sorting plastics into their respective types makes it easier to recycle them. In other words, separating by type is an important part of the recycling process. For example, take this plastic bottle. The cap, label, and body of the bottle are all made of different types of plastic. That's why it's recommended to remove the cap and label before disposing of them. At plastic bottle recycling plants, the float or sink method of separating plastics, which we saw earlier, is put to good use. They shred the caps, labels, and bottles. Then put them all in the saturated saline solution. The bottle parts will sink, while the polyethylene cap and polystyrene label will float, allowing for removal of only the PET material.
So, what do you think? Did you learn the importance of separating plastics?
Yes, I did. But it's so hard to do this kind of sorting every time.
That's why you can refer to the classification marks and information about the products.
Classification marks?
This.
Yes! Indeed, packaging on products always contain these notifications. This tells us what type of plastic it is. Classification duo, why didn't you tell us sooner? Refer to these marks and we should be able to separate plastics easily.
There are several types of plastic depending on their use.
So be sure to do your duty and classify them by type for recycling.
Thanks for your help today, Plastic Classification Duo. Keep up the good work.